Acting is a full-body sport, t-shirt phrase, and it requires physical warm-ups and vocal warm-ups. But there are also special theatrical muscles that you can be working out. Theatrical muscle, of course, is similar to a regular muscle, except that stage crews don't trust it to move set pieces. Fun fact, every time an actor drops a prop, a very organized person wearing a black t-shirt and headset somewhere out in the world sheds a single tear. So I just wanted to put together a quick video to highlight some fun warm-ups and games that you can whip out before or after rehearsal or in a classroom setting. I got 5 of them, and they're coming up right now. Welcome to Derek Writes Plays, the channel for theater kids of all ages and the people who tolerate them. I am the titular Derek, and I do get drawn poorly. I hope you've warmed up your fingers so that you can click the like and subscribe buttons right about now. A good theater warm-up game focuses on a particular skill that actors can put to use, such as active listening, creativity, or collaboration. So each of these activities is meant to not just be fun, but also fruitful. Much like an edible arrangement. Not a sponsor, but they could be. Call me. The first game is my favorite circle game. Circle game, of course, being a game in which everyone stands in a circle. And one of the most famous circle theater games is called Zip, Zap, Zop. This is where you send energy back and forth. One person says zip, second person says zap. Third person, as you might guess, says zop. Now, I like a different game. It's called Zoom, Schwartz, Pafigliano. It's a little bit more active, a little bit more strategic. So imagine all your actors standing in a circle. The first person points their hand to the other side of the circle at a certain person and says zoom. The second person has 3 options. They can zoom someone else farther away in the circle. They can Schwartz to send the zoom back to the first person, or they can shrug it to the left or right with a Pafigliano. Now there are house rules. You cannot Schwartz a Schwartz. You cannot Schwartz a Pafigliano. You can only Schwartz a zoom. And Pafiglianos can only move in one direction. If you are Pafiglianoed to the left, then you must Pafigliano to the left until someone stops Pafiglianoing and zooms to the other side of the circle. As you can guess, this gets to be quite silly and a little bit frantic as people send it back and forth. And that's the point of the game, is to have some active listening and really have everybody on time and making sure that no one drops the ball, no one loses the energy. You keep it moving back and forth. And so it's a really fun game, and I think you'll enjoy it. Second game is called Museum Guard, what we call statues. This is a game that focuses on awareness, knowing what all the other actors are doing. Now, one player is the museum guard, the rest are the statues. Statues have to stay in one place and can only move when the guard is not looking at them. If the guard is turned away to them, they're free to change positions, to step a certain amount of distance, but if he turns around, they have to stop, and if he catches them, they're out of the game. But the guard has to see them. They can't say, oh, I heard you move. They have to actually catch the statue in the act of maneuvering. So the statues have to be aware of what the museum guard is doing. The guard has to be aware of what the statues are doing. It keeps you engaged with everyone else playing the game. A good one, especially for children, improv troupes. Try this one out. I think you'll have a good time with it. Number 3 is a word game and memory game. It's called Going on a Picnic. You might have played a variation of this while on a long car ride. Basically, you start at the beginning of the alphabet and name off things that you're bringing to a picnic. For example, I'm going to a picnic, I am bringing apples. I'm going to a picnic, I am bringing apples and a blanket. I'm going to a picnic, I'm bringing apples, a blanket, and cookies. I'm going on a picnic, I'm bringing apples, blankets, cookies, and a dolphin. You can see, so you don't have to necessarily have things that you would bring to a real picnic, just has to start with the right letter. And you will then cycle back to the first person with whatever letter is next. So you will keep on going until you finally have to recite all 26 items that are being brought to the picnic. This is a really good one for a younger group, but it's also good for older actors as well because it stresses your creativity. Perhaps you can have a house rule that every time you play it, you cannot repeat anything that's been played in a previous game. So if someone has said apples before, the next time you play, the A can no longer be apples. So you can make things a little bit more challenging that way, but the goal is for everyone to be working on their active listening and to be building up their memory skills. Fourth game is a little bit of mime and teamwork. It's called Painting a Picture. Basically, it goes like this. You think of a tableau of some sort. Perhaps you want to paint a picture of the beach. Perhaps you want to paint a picture of a forest, or what have you. Then each person will take turns coming up to the player area and adding one thing to the picture. So for example, you are painting a picture of a forest. First person might come up and say, I am a tree. Second person might come up and say, I am the grass, and lay on the floor. Third person might come up and say, I am a bird in the tree, and add themselves next to the first player. And so you're using your creativity to think of things that fit into the picture. You are playing off each other, trying to find ways that you can add things to someone else's part of the painting, and gets you thinking about how you use space, how you use your body to tell a story. It is a really simple game, but again, a lot of fun. And the fifth one will also get you working on stage awareness and using the space. It's called Balance Board. Works like this. You'll be running through an improv scene, perhaps reading sides, but you have to be aware of who is on what side of the stage at all times and make sure that it stays balanced. So if you have 6 people on stage, imagine an invisible line down the middle and make sure that there are 3 and 3 on both sides. And as people move across, you have to then shift your position and keep them in balance. You can get more granular with this and think in terms of quadrants of the stage. So if someone is in the back or the front, you might want to balance that out as well. If someone is to the far left or far right, perhaps then you have to equal that out also. But that's up to you depending on how in-depth you want the balance function to be. But this one can be fun if you have somebody who moves around a lot and really upsets the balance and makes people have to kind of fall in and offset them as they go about and use the space. Very active, gets your body moving, but also again gets you thinking about your position on the stage and how it relates to the rest of the action. Thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments some of your favorite theater warm-up games and activities, and maybe I can share them on a later follow-up episode. As for this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with the theater director in your life, and I'll catch you next time here on Derek Writes Plays. Peace, and all good.